The cat that walked by himself. Hear and attend and listen, for this befell and be happened. When the tame ones, the dog, the horse, the pig, the sheep, and the cow were wild, but the wildest of all was the cat. He walked by himself, and all places were alike to him. Of course, the man was wild too. He was dreadfully wild. Then he met the woman who did not like living in his wild ways. She picked out a nice dry cave, lit a nice fire, hung a dried wild horse skin across the opening of the cave, and said, "Wipe your feet, dear, when you come in." Now they ate wild sheep roasted on the hot stones, flavored with wild garlic and wild pepper, and man forgot to be dreadfully wild. Then he went to sleep in front of the fire, ever so happy. But the woman sat up, her combing her hair. She looked at the wonderful marks on the bone of the shoulder of mutton, threw more wood on the fire, and she made the first singing magic in the world. Out in the wet, wild woods, all the wild animals gathered together and wondered what it meant. Then Wild Horse stamped with his wild foot and said, "O my friends and O my enemies, why have the man and the woman made that light in that cave, and what harm will it do to us?" Wild Dog lifted up his wild nose and smelled meat, and said, "I will go up and look, for I say it smells different. Cat, come with me." "Nee," said the cat, "I am the cat who walks by himself, and all places are alike to me. I will not come." "Then we can never be friends again," said Wild Dog, and he trotted off to the cave. But the clever cat said to himself, "Why should I not go and see too?" So he went and hid himself where he could hear everything. The woman saw the dog sniffing, laughed, and said, "Here comes the first. Oh, wild one, what do you want?" Wild Dog said, "O my enemy and wife of my enemy, what is this that smells so good?" The woman picked up a roasted mutton bone and threw it to Wild Dog, and said, "Taste and try." Wild Dog gnawed the bone, and it was more delicious than anything he had ever tasted. And he said, "O wife of my enemy, give me another." The woman said, "O wild thing, help my man to hunt through the day and guard this cave at night, and I will give you as many roast bones as you need." "Ah," said the cat, "this is a very wise woman, but she is not so wise as I am." Wild Dog crawled into the cave and laid his head on the woman's lap and said, "O my friend and wife of my friend, I promise." "Ah," said the cat, that is a very foolish dog," and he went back, but he never told anybody. When the man waked up, he said, "What is Wild Dog doing here?" The woman said, "His name is not Wild Dog anymore, but the first friend. He will be our friend for always. Take him with you for hunting." Next night the woman cut armfuls of fresh grass from the meadows and dried it before the fire. It smelt like new mown hay. She looked at the bone of the shoulder of mutton and made the second singing magic. Out in the wild woods the wild horse stamped with his foot and said, "I will go and see why Wild Dog has not returned. Cat, come with me." "Nee," said the cat, "I am the cat who walks by himself, and all places are alike to me." I will not come. But he followed Wild Horse and hid himself where he could hear everything. The woman heard the wild horse, laughed, and said, "Here comes the second. O wild thing, what do you want?" Wild horse said, "O my enemy and wife of my enemy, where is wild dog?" The woman laughed and said, "You did not come here for wild dog, but for this good grass." And Wild Horse said, "That is true, give it to me." The woman said, "Bend your wild head and wear what I give you, and you shall eat the wonderful grass 3 times a day." "Ah," said the cat, listening, "this is a clever woman, but she is not so clever as I am." Wild Horse bent his wild head, and the woman slipped the plaited hide halter over it. And Wild Horse said, "O my mistress and wife of my master, I will be your servant for the sake of the wonderful grass." "Ah," said the cat, listening, "that is a very foolish horse." And he went back, but he never told anybody. When the man returned, he said, "What is Wild Horse doing here?" And the woman said, "His name is not Wild Horse any more, but the first servant, because he will carry us from place to place. Ride on his back when you go hunting." Next day, holding her wild head high, Wild Cow came up to the cave, and the cat followed and hid like before. When Wild Cow promised to give her milk to the woman every day in exchange for the wonderful grass, the cat went back, but he never told anybody. And when the man returned and asked about the cow, the woman said, "Her name is not Wild Cow any more, but the giver of good food. She will give us warm milk, and I will take care of her." Next day the cat waited to see if any other wild thing would go up to the cave, but no one moved. So the cat walked there by himself, and he saw the woman milking the cow, and he saw the light of the fire in the cave. Cat said, "O my enemy and wife of my enemy, where did Wild Cow go?" The woman laughed and said, "Wild cat, go back to woods again, for we don't need either friends or servants in our cave." Cat said, "I am neither a friend nor a servant. I am cat who walks by himself, and I wish to be in your cave." The woman said, "Then why did you not come with first friend?" Cat grew very angry and said, "Has Wild Dog told the tales of me?" The woman laughed and said, "You are the cat who walks by himself, and all places are alike to me. You are neither a friend nor a servant. You have said it yourself. Go away and walk by yourself." Then Cat pretended to be sorry and said, "Must I never come into the cave? Must I never sit by the warm fire? Must I never drink the warm milk? You are very wise and beautiful. Don't be cruel to a cat." Woman said, "I knew I was wise, but I did not know I was beautiful. I will make a bargain with you. If ever I say one word in your praise, you may come into the cave. And if you say 2 words in my praise," said the cat, "then you may sit by the fire in the cave," said the woman. "And if you say 3 words," said the cat, "you may drink the warm milk 3 times a day for always." Then the cat arched his back and said, "Not now, let everyone remember the word." When the man returned home from hunting, the woman did not tell him of the bargain that she had made with the cat, because she was afraid that he and the tame ones might not like it. Cat then disappeared for a long time, and the woman forgot all about him. A bat would tell the cat the news of what was happening in the woman's life. One evening the bat said, "There is a baby in the cave, and the woman is very fond of him." "Ah," said the cat, "but What is baby fond of? He is fond of things that are soft and tickle, said the bat. He is fond of warm things to hold in his arms when he goes to sleep. He is fond of being played with. Ah, said the cat, then my time has come. Next night he waited till man, dog, and horse went hunting. The baby cried and cried, and the woman gave him a handful of pebbles to play with. But still the baby cried. Then the cat put out his paddy paw and tickled it with his tail, and the baby laughed. Then the bat said to the woman, "This is beautiful to see. Wild one playing with your baby." "A blessing on that wild thing," said the woman, straightening her back, "for I was a busy woman this morning, and he has done me a service." And lo and behold, the cat was sitting quite comfy inside the cave. "You have spoken a word in my praise, and now I am here." The woman was very angry and began to spin, but the baby cried because it didn't see the cat. But the cat was around. "I will show you a magic that shall make your baby laugh as loudly as he is now crying." The woman agreed. The cat frolicked, jumped, rolled, tossed, and ran in circles with the string. The baby laughed till it grew tired and settled down to sleep with the cat in its arms. The woman smiled. "You are very clever, O wild thing. You have spoken a second word in my praise, and now I can sit by the warm fire for always." The woman, angry at herself, brought out the bone of the shoulder of mutton and began to make a magic that should prevent her from saying a third word in praise of the cat. The cave grew so still that a little mouse crept out of a corner and ran across the floor. Said the cat, "Is that little mouse part of your magic?" "No, indeed," said the woman. The woman, angry at herself, brought out the bone of the shoulder of mutton and began to make a magic that should prevent her from saying a third word in praise of the cat. The cave grew still that a little mouse crept out of a corner and ran across the floor. Said the cat, "Is that little mouse part of your magic?" "No, indeed," said the woman. Said the cat, "then the mouse will do me no harm if I eat it." "No harm," said the woman. "Eat it quickly and I will ever be grateful to you." Cat made one jump and caught the little mouse, and the woman said, "100 thanks to you, O wise one. You have spoken 3 words in my praise, and now I can drink the warm white milk 3 times a day for always." Then the woman laughed and set the cat a bowl of warm white milk and said, "O cat, you are as clever as a man, but remember that your bargain was not made with the man or the dog, but with me." "What is that to me?" said the cat. "If I have my place in the cave by the fire and my warm milk 3 times a day, I do not care what the man or the dog can do." That evening the man said to the cat, "Now you and I will make our bargain. If you do not catch mice when you are in the cave, I will throw my boots and my stone axe at you whenever I see you, and so shall all proper men do after me." Then the dog said, "If you are not kind to the baby while I am in the cave, I will bite you, and so shall all proper dogs do after me, as long as the baby does not pull my tail too hard. But still, I am the cat that walks by himself, and all places are alike to me," said the cat. "Had you not said the last thing, it would have been better. Now I am going to hunt you up a tree whenever I meet you. and so shall all proper dogs do after me. Then the man threw his boots and his axe at the cat, and he ran out of the cave, and the dog chased him up a tree, and from that day to this it has been this way. But the cat keeps his promise too. He will kill mice, and he will be kind to babies when he is in the house, just as long as they do not pull his tail too hard. But when he has done that, he is the cat that walks by himself, and all places are alike to me. Then he goes out to the wet wild woods, or up the wet wild trees, or on the wet wild roofs, waving his wild tail and walking by his wild lawn.